Detroit is a vibrant, varied city with a fascinating past. It's a place full of amazing people, world-changing inventions, and groundbreaking music. Long recognized as the world's car capital, Detroit is also famed for its distinctive Motown music style from the 1960s. Detroit is home to a diverse ethnic population, including residents of Italian, English, German, Polish, Irish, Mexican, Middle Eastern, African, and Greek origin. Let's take a look back at what life was like in Detroit in the 1920s. With a thriving car sector and the illegal but profitable prohibition liquor trade, 1920s Detroit was one of the world's most vibrant, eccentric, and frenetic cities. As the city's physical size increased from 81 square miles in 1917 to 139 square miles 10 years later, its population increased from 466,000 in 1910 to 1.56 million by 1930. By 1920, the city of Detroit had a population of 993,000 people. Throughout the 1920s, the city thrived, but during the Great Depression of the 1930s, all but the largest automakers went bankrupt and disappeared. Around 75% of Detroiters were immigrants or first-generation Americans. During the initial phase of the Great Migration, Black Americans made up a substantial percentage. From architecture and culture to politics and technology, the city seemed to alter itself on a daily basis. This new exhibition examines the remarkable transformations that occurred in Detroit throughout the 1920s, as well as the city's stark contradictions. Glitz and glamour, risk-taking and the consequences thereof, social consciousness and depravity, elegance and poverty. Boomtown was one such tribute, presenting the story of the decade via 20 personal narratives of genuine citizens of the era, spanning all ages, backgrounds, and vocations, while evoking historic spots across the city. Detroit was a bustling city in the 1920s, and prohibition was the rule of the land. Although most prohibition infractions fell to the Department of Treasury, bureau agents in Detroit had their hands full with criminal gangs, such as the Purple Gang, which controlled much of the illicit activities and behaved ruthlessly in enforcing its will. As a former carriage company, Anderson changed its name to the Detroit Electric Car Company in 1920. As superior internal combustion engine autos became more ubiquitous and affordable, sales of the electric dropped in the 1920s, but the firm continued to produce Detroit Electrics until after the 1929 stock market crash. The company declared bankruptcy but was bought and continued to operate on a smaller scale for several years, constructing automobiles in response to specific requests. The Detroit Electric was primarily offered to female drivers and physicians who wanted a dependable and rapid start without the physically taxing hand cranking of the engine required by early automobiles. The car's refinement was quietly communicated to the public through its design, which included the first use of curved window glass in a production automobile, a costly and complicated feature to manufacture. Detroit is also well known for its contributions to music and communication. Station 8MK, which began transmitting from downtown Detroit on August 20, 1920, was one of the earliest commercial radio stations in the United States. One of the historical backgrounds that is memorable in Detroit was the first electric traffic light. In 1920, the country's first electric traffic light was installed in Detroit's downtown. Let's talk about the famous food that Detroiters loved in the year 1920. What did it mean to be middle class in the United States? Over a century ago, the answer may have looked like a hot dog, a Detroit Coney to be precise, which was then the flaming center of the country's middle class. A Detroit Coney is essentially a chili dog, a steamed bun, with a naturally casing hot dog, beef and pork, according to Joe Grimm, author of the book Coney Detroit. And on top of that hot dog that ought to be grilled, not boiled, not deep fried, goes the sauce, the most important part, he adds. All along the streets of Detroit, there are big neon signs advertising Coneys, a term that refers not only to the hot dogs, but also to the hundreds of eateries that sell them. Restaurants such as Red Hot's Coney Island have been providing Coneys since 1921 and keep the tradition alive today. Detroit is a unique and interesting place that people would love to visit. This was how Detroit was like in the 1920s. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.